Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how to make your ex regret leaving you. Now I've made various videos on similar topics to this over the years because I think it's a really important thing to revisit and reevaluate, especially for viewers that maybe watch my videos religiously and you may not have seen a video like this one for a while. So I think it's really important to go back to this so we can help retain the knowledge on these subjects. So we can get even better with these things, and to give us a good refresh on what we should be doing and how we should be behaving to make our lives a lot better. Because one of the things that's really important about making your ex regret leaving you is that you become a better person and you create a better life for yourself because of this dilemma. Because at the moment you may be really hurting about your ex leaving you, and you may be feeling quite bitter and you want to make them regret leaving you. So hopefully this video will help dissolve some of those feelings and actually use that energy of bitterness and resentment to cultivate a better life for yourself. Okay, because that's essentially what we want to do. We want to transmute that anger of making them want to regret leaving you into something that's actually going to really help you and potentially make them regret leaving you simultaneously, right? So it's like a win-win. Okay, so let's get into the first point that I want to talk about, and that is leveling up, right? That's one of the best ways that you can make an ex regret leaving you. Okay, so the way that you do this is that you look at all the most important areas of your life, right, and find at least one way to improve each of those things. So you may be looking at your life and thinking, okay, so what are the most important areas of my life? So for example, it might be your finances, it could be your health, body, that kind of thing. It could be your career, it could be your hobbies, or maybe even just generally your feeling of fulfillment with life. So you got to look at these most important areas to you, and it might be a good idea to write these areas down, and then think of something that you can do that would really improve, even if it's just one thing that would really improve each of these areas. Okay, so let's take a basic one here and say exercise, right? Or let's say that you want to get a six-pack or something, and think, okay, what can I really do to start making that a reality? It might be something like, okay, well, maybe I can actually make a lot of difference in getting these abs by cutting out carbs. Or maybe it's something like, oh, I need to do more ab exercises, maybe I need to use weights rather than just using body weight. I need to use weights instead now. It's all about, trying to find something that you can do to help make that a reality. Okay, so that's just one area. There's plenty of other different areas in your life. In fact, actually, a good resource for this, if you type into Google Tony Robbins life wheel, right? What you'll find is like there's this wheel thing, and basically on each part of this wheel, I need to really draw a wheel, don't I, really, to show you. So it's something like this. I'm just going to draw it for you. It looks something like this, okay? And this is obviously really, really disproportionate. Look at that really small triangle. But anyway, each sort of like line is like a part of your life. So one might be health, one might be finances, one might be your career, another one might be your friends and family. And basically, you put like little digits here that go from like 1 to 10. And where you put yourself where you are on the scale. So let's say you're like about here for your friends and family. You'd really like that to be better. And then you kind of create another bit of a wheel. And let's say this is your money and you're doing really well financially. And then let's say this is your health, and you're like, oh yeah, I could really do something better with my health. And like you have all these different areas that are like this and that. And what you'll find is that the way that Tony Robbins says is that if this bit was the wheel, so forget the outline, if this was the wheel and this was a car, how well would your life drive? Right? It'll be a pretty bumpy ride, wouldn't it? It'll be pretty bumpy, right? So essentially you want to have an even wheel, right? So you want to make sure that all things in all those areas are improving, and so that you've got a better car, you've got better wheels on your vehicle, right? And that's basically how you sort of see that, right? So you can be able to find a copy of that if you type in to Google Tony Robbins life wheel, right? And then you can make one for yourself, and then that will show you which areas, like, oh yeah, I really need to improve on that. I really need to improve on this. So essentially, that's what I'm talking about here, is that you need to find a way to level up, okay? Because what this will do is that if your ex is still curious about you, and let's say they're checking your social media pages, or they're asking through friends about how you're doing, and it gets filtered back to them either through social media or through mutual friends or other people, how well you're doing and how you're improving these different areas of your life and how you're actually getting on really well, then your ex is going to notice that and be questioning, perhaps, like, well, how come this guy or this girl that I dumped is actually doing better without me? They're not missing me at all. In fact, it seems like they're thriving without me. It's almost like their life is better without me, right? And that's gonna really question themselves, right? Even if it doesn't make them regret leaving you, it may give them a bit of it may destroy their ego a little bit, because they were hoping that you were just going to crumble without them. But the fact that you're not, in fact, you're actually doing better without them, is really going to, make them think, what's going on? Right? Okay, so it's pretty cool. So one of the things I want to talk about here as well is that you want to be with someone else, right? Because if you want to upgrade, essentially, you want to get a new person into your life, right? Because that's another way that you can make your ex regret leaving you, is if you actually find someone else who is way better than them in all departments. It might not be that they're an improvement on, it may not be that they're just a better version of your ex. It may be that you find someone who's completely different from your ex, which may be a good idea, right? But they're better in all these different ways, right? Because they're a different person. So let's say, for example, your ex was like a really bad communicator, and now you find someone who's a really good communicator. That's obviously a step up. That's a level up, essentially. So there's one scene that I really like in movies, and it's from the first Rocky movie. The final bell scene, and that piece of music by Bill Conti is actually really nice as well, the final bell music. And in that scene, I'm sure a lot of you are probably familiar with the first Rocky movie, but in that scene, Rocky has just gone the distance with Apollo Creed, and he's like, yeah, jumping in the air, and stuff, and he's so happy. But all he cares about is where his girlfriend is. He's just calling her, Adrian! And he can kind of hear her in the crowd, because she's like shouting, Rocky, Rocky, and she's like running towards him. And it's such a beautiful scene, because that's the kind of person that you want, right, in your life. If you're a Rocky, you want an Adrian. You want that woman who is like running towards you, and that's the only thing she only cares about. She doesn't care that you went the distance with Apollo Creed. She just wants to be with you, right? And this, it's just such a beautiful scene, and it's really also it's also really cute how in that scene when they do finally meet, he's just like, "Where's your hat?" Like, if she had a hat on her head, he's like so concerned about where her hat is. It's just so sweet. But that's the kind you want, a woman who loves you so much, and to that degree, right? It's such a beautiful scene, and obviously your ex isn't like that. They wasn't your cheerleader, right? Or if you're a woman watching this, he wasn't your champion, right? Who you'd run to, like that, right? And I think that's just such a beautiful scene of how important that kind of connection in a relationship is. Like, that's the kind of connection that you want, right? He went the distance with Apollo Creed, but all he could care about in that moment was where his girlfriend was, right? And he's just calling out for her and wanting to be with her. It's just such a lovely scene. I highly recommend that you go and watch it if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure you can probably find that scene here on YouTube. And definitely listen to that piece of music, because it's so uplifting, right? And when you listen to that music, sometimes I think about my life with my wife, and like how I feel like I've won life, essentially, with all like the wonderful things that have been happening to us. And of course there's always areas in life for improvement, always things that you want to be able to achieve more to do and things like that. But you've got your cheerleader, you've got that person, or you've got your champion, and that's all that matters, right? It's just a really beautiful scene and beautiful music as well. So another way that you can make your ex regret leaving you is to sincerely move on from them 100%, and you got to do whatever you can to do so, right? So it's really important that you get to a place where you genuinely have moved on from them, where it genuinely doesn't matter anymore if they're in your life or not. And you've got to figure out ways how you can make yourself move on from them. It might be that you watch videos like mine to help you feel better about yourself, make you feel more confident, and to figure out ways how to get over your ex. It could be that, it could be other people's videos. It could be that you do the inner work. Maybe you journal about your feelings. Because one of the interesting things, I was talking to my wife about this recently, with like kids, when they go through something or they see something that is a bit strange, like maybe a bit traumatic, what they do is they draw it, or they create art, or they reenact it, right? So for example, I remember when I was a kid, I was with my family, and we was waiting for a train, and the train got delayed. Yeah, the train got delayed, and we got told that it was because someone was on the train track and they got killed from a train because they maybe committed suicide or they just fell onto the tracks. I can't remember the full story. But I remember when I got home that I was drawing a train track and someone lying on the train tracks. And kids do things like that to help them process things, to help get over them. They do it through art or reenactment and things like that, or they talk to their parents about it, you know? So maybe you try to cultivate something like that. Maybe that will help you trying to move on. But why it's important that you sincerely move on from your ex to make them regret leaving you is because they will see that. They will see that you no longer care, right? And perhaps they instinctively thought at some point that you would always care about them, that you would always miss them, because perhaps you begged a lot and you pleaded a lot and it made them feel good to feel so desirable, you know, to feel so wanted. But because you no longer do and you've sincerely moved on with your life, then that may make them regret. They may think, oh, well, I wish I had maybe treated him or her better. Maybe I made the mistake, because it seems like actually this person is really strong and they've moved on so well from me. You know, you never know. But the point is that if you do all these things, then by the end, you may not even care if they regret leaving you, right? Because if you found someone way better, you know, if you've leveled up in life, and if you've 100% moved on, you're no longer going to care how they feel about you. And essentially, that is all you really need, okay? But it might be fun as well to get them to regret leaving you too, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinelovage.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.